The next type of problem we'll look at are problems that involves the time it takes several workers to complete a job. To show the idea of these problems, let's suppose it takes someone 5 hours to paint a house. In that case, in 1 hour, a fifth of the job will be done. A fifth of the house should be painted. So the idea being that if it takes someone a certain number of hours to complete a job, then in 1 hour they've completed part of that job. In particular, if it takes them t hours, then they'll complete 1 over t of that job. So this is the idea that we're going to need for these problems. It takes Cody 3 hours to mow the yard, and it takes Aaron 2 hours to mow the yard. So how long would it take if they worked together? Well, let's start organizing the information that we have. We'll let x be the time that it takes them together. This is what we're looking for. And as I've stated before, we're really only concerned with how much they can complete in the hour. What fraction is done in 1 hour? Well, in 1 hour, Cody can complete a third of the job. And in 1 hour, Aaron can complete half of the job. And then if it takes them x hours to do it together, then in 1 hour they'll completed 1 over x of the job. So now let's see if we can set up an equation. We're going to use this idea that in 1 hour, the fraction done by Cody plus the fraction done by Aaron should be the fraction that they've done together, the total fraction done. So let's stick in what we know. 1/3 plus 1/2 is equal to 1 over x. When dealing with fractions, the easiest thing to do is to multiply through by the least common denominator. In this case, that would be 6x. 1/3 times 6x is 2x. 1/2 times 6x is 3x. And 1 over x times 6x is 6. We can then combine like terms. That'll give us 5x equal to 6. We then divide both sides by 5. And that gives us x is equal to 1.2. So working together, it should take them 1.2 hours or 1 hour 12 minutes. Let's do another one of these. Fred can paint a house in 10 hours. If George helps, it takes them 4 hours. So how long would it take George to paint alone? So once again, let's start organizing and see how much each person can do in a single hour. Since Fred can paint the house in 10 hours, then in 1 hour he could paint 1/10 of the house. Together it would take them 4 hours, so in 1 hour they should be able to be done with 1/4 of it. We don't know how long it will take George alone, so that will be x. So in 1 hour he can do 1 over x. So in 1 hour, we should be able to take the amount done by Fred plus the amount done by George, and that should be equal to the amount that they've done together. So we have 1 over 10 plus 1 over x equal to 1 over 4. Once again, we want to multiply through by the least common denominator. In this case, the least common denominator is 20x. So 1/10 times 20x is 2x. 1 over x times 20x is 20. And 1/4 times 20x is 5x. We can then subtract 2x from both sides. That leaves us with 20 equal to 3x. We then can divide both sides by 3. And we get 6.67 is equal to x. So we now have that it would take George by himself 6.67 hours, or 6 hours and 40 minutes.